housing finance companies' role in lending to affordable housing and housing is complementary to the role of the bank, as Goyal Sahab has rightly mentioned. The demand in India for housing finance is very robust. It is going to stay not for 1 year, for next 15, 20 years, as our penetration is only 10.5% of GDP, more than that. So there is a huge demand available, therefore many players are needed. Your very apt question is that housing finance company asset liability mismatch. You asset liability, it means the duration of asset and duration of liability, that management looks a word very simple but is very complex because it leads to multiple risk, liquidity risk, interest rate risk, market risk, multiple risks are there. And we all know liquidity risk is the biggest risk for any business entity, for any financial organization, for anybody individual. If liquidity is not there, we are bound to fail or default. Now, in case of housing finance, this business itself is a business of having asset liability mismatch. Structurally, housing finance company's business is a business of asset liability mismatch, because we give loan from 15 to 30 years maximum, where the liability available in our country is maximum for 10 years. If you even go for NCD, it will not be more than 10 years. Bank loans are mostly 10 years, but quarterly repayment, if you take, the average maturity comes 4 to 5 years. Of course, in housing finance, door to maturity is 30 years, but the normal behavioral maturity in case of the middle income and premium segment is around 6-7 years, and in case of affordable housing, it is around 9-10 years. But even then, if you take the behavioral maturity of the housing loan and the average maturity of the borrowing, there is always 4-5 years gap. And this issue has always been there. We have been managing. Bank do have mismatch, but since bank has got multiple sources of recurring liability generation, for them risk is minimal. But for us, our borrowing happens from the lenders, therefore our risk is heightened. And this risk was come to the fore only after September 18, when the Reserve Bank of India got alerted. And everybody in the country was observing that these companies, NBFC, HFCs, they were borrowing through commercial papers 30%, 20%, 15% of their borrowing, and lending for the long period. And that's why the Reserve Bank of India from that day seized to this particular aspect, that how this very grave area has to manage, because housing finance company being their important role, they had to stay, but their business model in terms of asset liability mismanagement are issues has to be rectified. So now the first and foremost, immediately, you remember after September 18, the partial credit guarantee scheme was brought to support the liquidity, because banks were not in a position to lend too much to the housing finance company for about few months' time, because they were feeling their asset liability mismanagement there. Earlier, banks were not looking into that, but thereafter, everybody became quite aware that whether the bank, housing finance company are borrowing for short term. Today, if you ask, most of the housing finance companies, they have hardly 1 or 2% short term resources. What RBI did, RBI came out with a clear-cut framework of the one co-lending. Mahesh has spoken. Co-lending is one in that direction. I will tell you how. Second thing, RBI came with a liquidity risk framework, very elaborate. They said the housing finance company has to follow the stock approach in terms of various liquidity ratio. What is their short-term to long-term borrowing is there. They said the board has to fix. It cannot go 20%, 25%, can be maximum 10%. They said what is short-term loan to long-term loan, what is short-term loans are there to long-term loan. If long-term loans are 2,000 crore, I am borrowing 1,000 crore short-term, it is not a good ratio. Similarly, other ratio like short-term loan to long-term asset, commercial paper to a long-term loan, everything RBI wanted the HFCs to make the proper framework. Most important thing which RBI thought, which NHB earlier, NHB was the regulator, they also gave they defined all asset and liability in a bucket. RBI, for a bucket of 1 month, they divided in 3 parts: 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 30. They wanted to see that short term, if you manage the liquidity, long term somehow able to manage. So therefore, in short term, Reserve Bank of India gave a very clear mandate. You can't have more than 20% cumulative mismatch from 1 to 30. Another framework they brought, liquidity coverage ratio. The RBI said that from December 21, depending on the size of the asset, 5,000 crore companies, they have to manage 30%. 10,000 above crore asset companies, they have to manage 50%. They said you have to have minimum high quality liquidity asset, HQLA, equal to 30 days outflow, so that in short term you should not default. That was the whole idea Reserve Bank of India. Now other guidelines, securitization guidelines, co-lending, they are all to support the long-term resources, because in co-lending you are going to be asset-light company, liquidity is not a problem. In securitization you are having co-terminus liabilities and asset together, and therefore if 4 or 5 years liability and asset liabilities are available with you, the housing finance company are not going to default, because then the in rolling basis they will be able to do that. Another thing Reserve Bank of India wanted, that these companies should have a contingency funding plan, that in case of eventuality, how they are going to fund that particular problem. So those are all very big things Reserve Bank of India has put in place. And if you observe post September 18 till now, such issues are almost negligible. I can't say they are eliminated, but to great extent is negligible. That is the whole aspect Reserve Bank of India try to do, to see that asset liability because should be taken care of, because housing finance companies' role in the development of housing finance cannot be undermined or eliminated. The management of asset liability with the various issues I told is one thing. One, raising long-term resources, not having greed of lower cost short-term resources, but you can pay 0.5% interest more for long-term resources, so that we should do our business with a proper comfort and without any problem. Now, coming to the second part, which you asked, the securitization. RBI issued two guidelines. One, for transfer of loan exposure and securitization. Why these two things are different? There was no guidelines available on transfer of loan exposure. Guidelines were there from 2006-12 from securitization. In India, you see the banks are always having hunger of assets. Securitization, it is a PTC route, and where the bonds are issued, this sits in the investment portfolio of the bank. Why the sale of asset sits in the loan portfolio of the bank. Therefore, most popular word was assignment of loan or bilateral deal with the bankers. So about 2 lakhs crore rupees used to happen pre-pandemic, the sale of assets. Securitization was not happening to that great extent. But securitization globally, as Mr. David will be talking to you, securitization is globally, securitization is a concept, but domestically, assignment or loan exposure is concept. I will quickly take what are the great features which RBI has brought. Why RBI brought? RBI want to widen the market participation through securitization. RBI wanted that the housing finance company source the loan, sell the bankers or other buyers, and then can have a long-term funds. Asset liability mismanagement will not be an issue. That was the whole concept behind this. Now, first I will take the most popular word is sale of exposure or assignment. What RBI earlier, there were two basic concepts: minimum holding period and minimum reserve requirement, MRR. So we were required to keep loan for 12 months with us before we sell, excepting from September 18 to June 20. To address the problem post ILFS issue, it was made 6 months for housing finance company and 20% MRR. And then again, it was made 12 months is the minimum holding period required. What Reserve Bank did, they said the minimum holding period will be 3 months if the loan is for less than 2 years, and will be 6 months if loan is more than 2 years and above. So from 12 months, this is brought to 3 months and 6 months. That is one aspect. In case of housing finance, that is residential mortgages, Reserve Bank of India again gave a leeway. They said if the buyer, like a bank, they are doing 100% due diligence, MHB in their book.
Right.
Earlier they were supposed to keep 10% in their book. Now what RBI has done, in case of securitization, they said in case of housing finance, 5% is required. But in case of sale of pool, if the buyer is doing 100% due diligence of the account, they are required to maintain zero portfolio with them. It was the concept of risk in the business, that risk in the skin in the game. We are originator. We should not sell the all bad portfolio. Therefore, Reserve Bank of India says you have to keep 10%. Now, if my lender, like the State Bank of India, is buying loan from us, if they are doing 100% due diligence, I am required to keep zero. I can sell 100% to them. The small housing finance company who are short of capital, they can source business, and after 6 months of the holding period, they can go and sell to the any bank, and they can have liquidity for further generation. Only one disadvantage which has come in this case, the company which is in India, they are booking profit upfront. So earlier it was allowed. Regulator said you book profit upfront, no problem. But what you have to do, you cannot use this profit for the purpose of in your tier one capital. That is what RBI said. I think nothing wrong in that. You can't take two advantage. You have profit also, and you want to take tier one capital. So that is the right regulation RBI has brought. Earlier, 120 days window was available for the replacement of the pool if any account is bad or not good, not lender is not liking. Now only 30 days window is available. So there will be a lot of work for the bank and housing finance company if they want to sell the portfolio to the lenders. This is what the assignment is, sale exposure. Coming to securitization, a very far-reaching guidelines RBI has given to develop securitization market in India. One, that in case of RMBS, the initial mortgages, only 5% MRR is required. MHP, 6 months and 3 months, that is same, there is no change. What's the best important thing the Reserve Bank of India has brought? STC, that is simple, transparent, and comparable. If the lender has developed a very nice portfolio and they are having a lot of disclosures which the circular have mentioned, then the lender will be able to command a very lower rate for that. If I am selling my portfolio, I will not sell at a higher rate, I will sell the lower rate. So the difference amount originator rate and the sale rate I will have. So if I am issuing the small bond for that, whether bilateral or whether the large number of investors will be comfortable if my portfolio is STC, simple, transparent, and comparable, because they have a comfort. It is just like a AAA portfolio. It has a lot of disclosure. So that way, today, only mutual funds, some insurance companies, and the banks are only buying this securitized portfolio. Then large pool of investors across the country who are investing in share market, other things than FDs, they will find another instrument for investing. That is for them. And secondly, we were providing credit enhancement. Credit enhancement can also taper down with the performance of portfolio. Earlier, it was 50% repayment if happens. Then when you can reduce the credit enhancement, now at 25% you can do it. So lot many good things have been brought in securitization, and hopefully this securitization market from bilateral or few buyers will move to the large class of investors. And if the market deepens, that will be a great thing for the country. Globally, securitization is known to be one of the best investor deal, and investment happens. Because in FD, if you are getting 6%, in securitized portfolio, if you are getting 6.5, 6.7%, and it is AAA rated portfolio, I think you love to invest. And that way, the dependence of housing finance company from the banks and from the mutual fund and the insurance company will move to the large class of individual investors. That bill is going to be a great thing. One or two things which are from earlier concept are negative here, that earlier if you are giving over collateralization, like if I am giving instead of 100%, I am giving 110%, the benefit was there. We provide less credit enhancement in form of cash liquidity, cash collateral. RBI said no, over collateral securitization, this will not give you benefit. That's only one thing. Earlier, even single exposure, like if I have given a loan to an NBFC, that was also could have been securitized. Now they said no, that you cannot do. But one big thing has been brought. If I brought portfolio from a housing finance company, after 6 months, I can securitize and sell it. So these are good features. The scheme of new securitization and loan exposure has set the right market, and in next few years it will develop. Only one thing is needed, that there needs to be somewhere where if investor wants to redeem his bond, some buyer should be there. So I feel one thing government or RBI should bring, initially they should create with National Housing Bank or some other body who can buy out these bonds if some investor are going. Like share market, you can go and save. But if you have invested in the bond of securitized pool of housing finance company, today market is not there. Initially, 2 3 years, some market has to be developed. Probably, I think government or RBI will think about that.
Very nice, bhai.